This is the very subtle, unassuming entrance to the Galleria Accademia in Florence, and this is where you'll find Michelangelo's David. You could walk right by and not even know that it was someplace special, but it certainly is. And of course, this is David that you'll find inside, one of the many magical things you'll find inside. When you first enter, we don't see David straight away. We walk through an area called the Hall of the Colossus. And this houses a most magnificent statue of the Rape of the Sabines, or the Rape of the Sabines, by Giambologna. And it's surrounded by magnificent religious artworks, 15th and 16th century artworks. Uccello, Perugino, Filippino Lippi, Ghirlandaio, Botticelli, all on a single wall. You can go round this gallery in 30 minutes, or you can go round in 3 hours. It just depends, I guess, on crowds and also what you're really wanting to enjoy seeing. I think I spent around 2 hours walking through. But if you are on a restricted time guided tour, you can see it all in 30 minutes. The address of the Accademia Galleria is 56-60 Via Ricasoli in Florence, right in the centre of Florence, just around the corner from the Duomo. So it's easy to find. After we leave the Hall of the Colossus, we walk through another magical space. It's called the Hall of the Prisoners. Here it is, the beginning of the Hall of the Prisoners. Now this is surrounded by 6 statues. These were the unfinished works of Michelangelo. And right at the end is where we'll find the tribune where David's housed. He's beneath an almost halo-like dome. But don't miss looking at these other unfinished statues. It's almost like they're in there. They're just waiting to get out, waiting to let Michelangelo let them out, really. They were commissioned, but before he had time to complete them, the Pope said he didn't want them anymore. But anyway, here they are, not to be missed. So wander down the Hall of the Colossus and you'll get to David, and that's where you'll find the crowds. To the left and right of David, there's other small galleries too. But you'll get to that and you'll see that as you pass by. To the left of it is a place called the Gipsoteca Bartolini. Now that's a really interesting place. But we'll get past David first. I wanted to show you completely right around the outside of David, right from the front, right around the back, because every bit of it is marvellous. And whilst you're walking through the gallery, you'll keep coming back time and again. It just draws you back. In fact, it's a really hard place to leave. You notice something different every time you look at David from a different angle. More detail. Just to the left there, you'll see what I was referring to before as the Gipsoteca Bartolini. We'll head there in a moment. Here we are in the Gipsoteca Bartolini. Now this is an area that houses all the clay cast models that were made to assist the sculptors. They made these models so when they were going to go and get the marble, they had an idea of the size of the piece of marble they needed. And you'll see there's a lot of little nail holes in there, and those nail holes were there to determine how much density of marble they needed when they were cutting out the slabs. But everything in here is clay models. Looks a bit like what I think Madame Tussauds would look like behind the scenes. After this, we're heading to the Florentine Gothic section of the gallery. This is where we'll find the 13th and 14th century magnificent golden altarpieces painted on wood with gilt frames. Now this is not only displayed here on the first floor or the ground floor, there is another floor above where we'll see even more of this. Don't miss any of it. It's magical. These were all created for churches as altarpieces, to be displayed on the altar, behind the altar. And this is an example of Gothic art. So, the Galleria Accademia is not all about David, although he is the focal point. Don't miss all the other wonderful artworks that are on display here. Wander through. If you've got 30 minutes, you've got 30 minutes. If you've got a day, spend as long as you can there. It really will provide lasting memories. I can't wait to go back. I don't really believe you need a guide. I think that you could do this tour all by yourself, as long as you're prepared to do plenty of reading and you've got time just to sit back and look at all these magnificent artworks. Sometimes just the quiet time on your own in there is more valuable than having someone point out every detail. Anyway, maybe when you look at this a second time, you can turn off my voice too and just enjoy the pictures. I recorded it on a small camera that doesn't really do it justice, but I didn't really want to be too obtrusive as I was walking around, especially with lots of people bumping your arms and what have you. I just used a little action camera. I think the video turned out pretty well. So after this we were headed to Venice, so I'll do a video for you on Venice, and that was a pretty magical place too. Okay, bye for now.